Florida's Industrial and Organizational Psychology Department. I'm here today along with my colleagues Alice, Samuel, and Claudia to present to you cultural sensitivity training. And now I'll pass it along to Alice.
Hi, I'm Alice, and I'm here to talk to you about why our training program is important. You may think that you're a fair person, but it is important that others see you as fair. This may seem like common sense, but in reality there are many actions and behaviors that others can perceive differently. As a leader and employee for Coalition for the Homeless, it is important to be aware of how other employees and residents perceive your actions and behaviors. The goal of our training is to increase your awareness of how to be seen as fair by residents and employees. We are going to focus on increasing your understanding of how perceptions of fairness are formed and interpreted. This training gives you a great opportunity to learn, grow, and be not just a better employee, but an example for others, both residents and employees, and to be part of creating an understanding and respectful work environment. Everyone can gain from building leadership skills and an understanding of perceptions of fairness to those that are different, especially in an environment as diverse as this one. And now I'm going to turn it over to Samuel to tell you a little bit about culture.
Thank you, Alice. I'm Samuel, and I'm going to talk to you about the 5 W's of culture. The who, why, what, where, and when. But before I begin, let me take a minute just to explain to you why we should learn about culture. First of all, some aspects of our culture we do not have a choice. In other words, we were born into our culture. And secondly, there are aspects of our culture which we choose to associate with. These are 2 very important things to understand when considering not only our culture, but someone else's. So what does this have to do with Coalition for the Homeless? Well, we are a very diverse organization. Our staff and clients represent cultures all along the spectrum. So as a team, our goal is to provide life services to our clients. Therefore, it is very important for us to understand the impact of our culture on others and the impact of others' cultures on ourselves. So let me begin with the 5 W's. The first W, who? Who is culture? We are all culture. I am culture. You in the 3rd row is culture. All of us are culture. Second W, what? What is culture? Well, we can understand culture using 3 different aspects. The first aspect, demographic. Our race, our gender, our age, all of those things make up our culture, who we identify with. The second aspect, geographic, represents the regions that we come from. In other words, North, South, West, Europe, Japan. The third aspect, associative, are the things that we choose to associate with. Religion, political affiliation. All 3 of these together make up who we are and who we identify with. Which brings us to the 3rd W. Why? Why is there culture? There is culture because of 5 reasons. The first reason being self-esteem. Culture gives us self-esteem. The second reason, meaning. Through culture, we are able to apply meaning and derive meaning from a very complex world in which we live in. Third reason, power and control. We derive a sense of power and control through the cultures that we identify with. 4, self-evaluation. Through our culture, we are able to evaluate ourselves compared or contrasted to people within our own culture and other cultures. Number 5, it reduces uncertainty in a very complex world. Which brings us to the 4th W. Where? Where is culture? Culture is everywhere. It's where we live, it's where we work, it's where we play, it's where we travel. Sometimes we're experiencing culture and we don't even know it. The fifth W, when. When is there culture? Very simple. Culture is anywhere there is at least one person. Up to this point, I've spoken about culture as it pertains mainly to us as individuals. But since we all work together in this environment here at Coalition for the Homeless, we actually have created a sort of hybrid culture where we are all coming together for a very important cause, and that is to help people in need, which provides a lot of meaning and fulfillment to our lives. Now I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca.
Now that Samuel has discussed culture, I'm going to speak with you about interpersonal fairness. Interpersonal fairness is the extent to which you treat other people with dignity and respect and kindness in your interactions with them. And you might at first wonder what interpersonal fairness has to do with culture, but the two are actually very important to look at together. And part of the reason is because even though there's many benefits to having a culture, and especially a strong culture, there can also be some negative effects, in particular negative effects related to interpersonal sensitivity or fairness, as we call it. So, as Samuel said, some of the benefits of having a culture is the self-esteem that you have by identifying with a culture, and then also the meaning that you derive from life in the sense that you have a culture. But some of the drawbacks of that are that sometimes we tend to think that our culture is superior, and we might not even realize that we think this way. And because we might be biased to our own cultures, we in turn may unknowingly, without even realizing it, treat other people in ways that are unfair or unkind in our interactions with them, simply because we see the way that we do things and we see it as being superior. And like I said, sometimes we do these things and we don't even realize it. So for these reasons, we want to make sure that here at the Coalition for the Homeless, that you treat everyone, whether it's your supervisor, subordinates, co-workers, or the actual clients, that you're always treating everyone in your interactions with them with dignity and respect and kindness, and that you're being courteous in your interactions with other people. And there's a couple of ways that you can actually do this. To begin with, you want to be aware of your own personal biases. So that includes recognizing your own cultural biases in the fact that you might actually think that the way that you do things is superior to others. And like I said, you really need to be in tune to this because you might not initially realize that you do have this bias. So first of all, being aware that you could have some biases, and then trying to understand things from other people's points of view. So you might try to understand another person's culture and understand that they're going to have different attitudes and behaviors based on their culture that aren't necessarily wrong, it's just different from the way that you do things.